For some weird reason, my mother-in-law really wants to go into our bedroom whenever she comes over. On one occasion, I followed her as she went upstairs. I was going to get something for my child as the bedrooms are upstairs, and she walked past the bathroom on the main floor and up the stairs behind it. She didn't hear me, and I caught her walking straight into my room and rifling through bills on my dresser. She denied snooping, even though I just watched her do it, and said she was just going to use our bathroom because she couldn't find the other ones. She walked right past the one on the main floor and another one in the upstairs hallway to go into our bedroom. Since that happened, I installed an exterior doorknob that requires a key on our bedroom door and one on the door to our office/spare bedroom. However, she's still always forgetting where the bathroom is and trying the bedroom and office door. This really ticks me off. My husband says that I just get annoyed at this because everything she does drives me crazy. And since we've put locks on the rooms we don't want her in, there isn't really a problem anymore. Well, over the holidays, we had my in-laws over for dinner, and before they came, I was searching for the bedroom keys. We hadn't used them in a while since we only lock the doors when mother-in-law comes over. My husband told me we didn't need to lock the doors since she wouldn't try to get into the rooms, and I insisted that she would because she loves to snoop. We went back and forth and decided to cover the doorknobs in super fine glitter to see if she tried them. I did this once before when husband didn't believe me about the snooping, to prove she'd been in the rooms. Last time she ignored the glitter and we didn't say anything about it, but then my husband couldn't deny that she tried to snoop. So this time I covered the knobs in glitter, and for the office went a touch further and rigged a little folder of glitter over the door to the office before the in-laws came over. I left it on the side unlocked, French doors, and it was set so if you walked in the room, you would get covered in glitter. Husband goes out of his way to show his mom the main floor bathroom when they got there, and specifically asks his parents and sister not to go upstairs. There's a baby gate so the kids can't get upstairs either. Well, guess who had to go to the bathroom and got covered in glitter and had it all over their hands and hair? She completely lost it and started screaming at me. So I yelled back, and now my husband is saying I went too far and I'm the a-hole. Mother-in-law also says I'm the a-hole, but sister-in-law says I didn't do anything wrong, and mother-in-law deserved it for snooping. Father-in-law is Switzerland. Apparently her car is ruined now too, because it's covered in glitter that she can't get cleaned up. So, am I the a-hole? Now the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your mother-in-law is an issue, but the fact that your husband refuses to set and enforce boundaries with her is actually the larger issue here. My 7-year-old overheard me saying this to my sister. She accidentally swore in front of me and sobbed afterward, saying, "No way, she's not the a-hole." I didn't even get mad about the accidental swearing. You are not the a-hole. Not the a-hole, but you missed out on the perfect opportunity to spread disinformation. Make up fun documents to leave hidden on your desk about how you're helping the UN with the crisis, or leave out fake letters from heads of state or whoever her favorite famous person is. If she's gonna snoop, have fun with it. I, female 32, just got engaged to my fiancé, male 37, Sam. We do not live together because we're waiting till marriage, given he and his family are highly conservative Christians, but they're really nice and lovable people. I had plans to spend my New Year's Eve with Sam, but he said he was out for New Year's Eve dinner celebration with his parents, then called me again inviting me to join them, and I happily did. His parents were there. They welcomed me and ordered many dishes and desserts and drinks. We celebrated and had a great time. That is, until it was time to pay. Pulled my wallet out of my bag, letting them know that we'll split the check between us. Sam mumbled, "No, you don't have to. We invited you." But I insisted. He and his parents then stared at me. I asked what was wrong, and both mother-in-law and father-in-law said they didn't have money on them. I was shocked. I turned to Sam and he said he too forgot his wallet at home and didn't bring enough money to cover even one round of drinks. His dad then laughed nervously. "Alright, so guess we should let the doctor pay." I was taken aback. I said I'm sorry, but no. This is just so much money to spend on one dinner by myself, and I didn't think I was expected to pay the entire bill. Sam said I should pay, and he'd pay me back later. But I said no, since I know he will have to get a job to pay that much money. I said, "I'm sorry, but this isn't the first time I've been put in this situation by him and family. where I'm expected to rescue them after they somehow forgot their wallets, and expect others to pay hundreds for their extravagant dinner. I told them I'll only pay for what I had, and that's it. He and his parents were shocked. They started arguing about how I have the potential to pay right there and then, but I was acting as if they were strangers, not family. But that doesn't mean I'm obligated to pay. How could someone go out to a fancy restaurant, order so many dishes, desserts, and drinks without bringing money? Sam begged that I just do it and call it a night, but I refused. The argument got heated. Then I got up and walked out. Sam called later at 2 a.m., basically yelling that I ruined New Year's Eve celebration and made his parents suffer because I refused to pay the entire bill and instead acted selfishly and paid only for myself after they were gracious enough to invite me. I told him how unfair it was for me to pay. Even if I have a good salary, doesn't mean I want to spend it all on fancy dinner. He didn't reply. He just said he'll pray that his parents will let this go and not resent me after I basically damaged the relationship with them. I felt awful thinking I should have covered the bill instead of leaving. Am I the a-hole? Now the top comments. Not the a-hole. They all conveniently left their wallets at home. It doesn't seem like they forgot them at all. And they invited you with the expectation that you'll pay. You should rethink marrying this guy. He expected you to pay for an expensive meal without your knowledge, and you've been put in this situation before by him. It seems he's using you for money, and that's extended to his family. They ruined their own New Year's Eve by trying to force someone else to pay for a meal they cannot afford. Absolutely, and father-in-law's comment about letting the doctor pay was the biggest tell for me, though this wasn't the first time I was put in this situation. 100% don't marry this guy. He doesn't have a job. It doesn't seem like SAHP arrangement is in place. So he's essentially leeching off OP, intentionally it seems. They weren't gracious enough to invite you. If you invite someone out to dinner, you pay. The invite is nothing more than a calculated attempt to get a free meal out of OP. The fact that fiancé didn't stand up for OP and even supported their comments raise a lot of flags. This is not the first time they tried to take advantage of OP financially. It seems like Sam is also in it with his parents, because no one leaves their wallets home that conveniently. OP, you need to seriously rethink the marriage, and this relationship in general. His parents are not nice and lovable to you. They're nice to your wallet. And your future husband, hopefully not for long, are the same. You're in it for the marriage, he's in it for the money. I want to preface this by saying that I, female 34, married with my husband, male 37, a year ago. His mom is snoopy and annoying AF. She can't help it, that is just how she is, as my dear in-laws say. My husband and I purchased a new house recently. My mother-in-law kept pushing to get an emergency key. She promised that she only use it in an emergency. But given the fact that she had an emergency key for our old apartment and walked in on us being intimate twice, but my husband didn't think it was a big deal. I just couldn't trust her, so I just sent her a fake key after she kept pushing, and she had a smug on her face after I hand-delivered it to her. Days gone by, and on Christmas dinner, mother-in-law angrily called me out on the fact that I gave her a fake copy of the house key. She shamed me for doing this in front of everyone, but in my defense, I asked her how she found out, and she said days ago, when she came over at 4 while my husband and I were out. I reminded her, didn't you promise you wouldn't use it unless there's an emergency? So you tried to get in while there was no emergency, and you broke the promise you made to us. She looked red in the face, and the other family started staring, and some even laughed at her for the face she made. She suddenly got up from her seat and rushed into the kitchen, where she had a huge meltdown, so loud the next-door neighbors must have heard. Literally, I've never heard a 60-plus-year-old woman throw a tantrum like that. Needless to say, dinner went awkward and my husband and his sister were giving me looks. My husband went off on me in the car and said I lied and manipulated and humiliated and exposed his mom, and said he wouldn't have let me get away with it had he known. We had an argument and he is demanding I apologize to his mom for my childish behavior and for ruining Christmas dinner for the whole family. Am I the a-hole? Now the top comments. Not the a-hole. I'd rethink my marriage if my husband put his mother over me. The fact that he is angry she's exposing his family on the internet, as if anyone could guess their identity from this description, also shows that he at least realizes he and mommy are in the wrong, even if he won't acknowledge it. Otherwise, he wouldn't care she posted here, or he'd expect to be validated. Like mother, like son. Agreed. Also, why is your husband mad at you? He should question his mother as to why she feels entitled to enter a grown man's home whenever she feels like it. There are some weird codependency things going on here. I, female 25, gave birth to my daughter weeks ago. My experience was pretty traumatic, and since it was my first, I had no clue what to expect. Forgive me for the vague details for privacy, but I'll mention all the relevant stuff, I promise. When I went into labor, I had the most difficult time of my life. I was in pain for hours. My mom was with me, but she had to go, and my husband was with me the entire time. I did something so embarrassing in the delivery room. I pooped myself, which was unexpected and just, I don't know, but it was embarrassing, and although my medical team were very professional about it, my husband couldn't help himself and started laughing about it later, and even telling my family about it, but they didn't react, just didn't find it funny, and neither did I. In fact, I found it embarrassing, and I already told him to stop bringing it up, especially when he starts joking about getting me diapers for my oopsies. It got really tiring and chipped away from my self-esteem and confidence. We were with his parents celebrating New Year's Eve together, when I excused myself to go to the bathroom. While I was getting up, he made a quick remark and said, "Oh yeah, you should go quickly because we don't want any accidents just like the one we had at the hospital. You know what I mean?" While blinking at me. His family actually laughed, and brother-in-law commented, "Good one." I was astonished and so angry and ashamed. I literally just lost it on him and yelled at the top of my lungs, calling him a cruel, insensitive jerk to be using the difficult experience of birthing his child as a joking matter and humiliating me in front of everybody. He was shocked, staring back at me and not saying a word. All went silent, and I just stormed off to the bathroom till we left. And that was when he snapped, saying I messed up by talking to him like that in front of his family during dinner. I said I couldn't hold my tongue for that long, and after he kept joking about an embarrassing thing when I told him to stop, he said he was just joking, and I went overboard with my reaction. And also, I should have sucked it up and waited till we got home, so we could address this privately, and I could even yell at him as long as I wanted. We argued about it after we got home, and he kept saying I humiliated him in front of his family during the celebratory evening by being petty and trying to one-up him. He even said I should have laughed along, not fly off the handle like this. Now the top comments. Not the a-hole. What a cruel and immature joke to make. Ask him to push a watermelon out of his parts and see if he can do it without any embarrassing accidents. If you had addressed this in private, he would have said the same thing. You're emotional and overreacting. He did it in front of his parents and family to corner you. This behavior needs to get nipped ASAP. Women release their bowels during labor all the time. You have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. Thank you. Thing is, he's a grade A jokester, and I knew he was going to joke about the experience, but not to the point of stressing me out like that.